Welcome to the Ultimate Mead Maker Challenge. This is the world's toughest mead making challenge that puts competitors through various tests to see how great of a mead maker they truly are. This is the second year we've done this, and you're going to love to watch these mead makers exercise creativity and be challenged through what I have in store for them. We started with these 14 mead makers, and over the course of the next 4 rounds, we will start eliminating them as they fail each challenge. By the end of the 4th challenge, we'll only have one person left, and they'll be crowned the Ultimate Mead Maker of 2024. The winner will receive a one-of-a-kind trophy and $250. This series cost a lot of money to make, so if you want to support the channel, check out the PayPal link or the Patreon and YouTube membership links below. Let's hop into round 1. Round 1, I made a traditional mead that was about 13% ABV. I let it go completely dry and then aged it for 6 months. I then bottled it in 750 milliliter bottles and shared a bottle with each contestant. They had 3 months to creatively change their mead while following my one big rule. You can add any flavor or variable to this mead as long as it stays 50% the original mead that I sent out. You're going to hear how they adapted each mead here in a moment, but once they were done, they sent the 187 milliliter bottle of it for the tasting. So let's see what they did. Welcome, contestants, to the finale of round 1. I presented you with a 750 of odd mead to start, and I requested that you take and form this mead into something amazing. It was a pretty blank slate, and then send me back a bottle, 187 milliliter bottle. You guys had a couple months to do this, and I see a slew of colors, as I'll show on the screen for the people watching. I'm going to taste through these, and we're going to learn a little bit about what you did with each one. And at the end of this, we have 13 meads. Only 12 people can move on, so I will be eliminating one person. So we will sadly say goodbye to someone at the end of this, but I'm excited to taste them. So let's find out what you did. And here we go.
I had some, I got the bottle in, I tasted it, and it was, just a pretty plain traditional with not a whole lot of other stuff going on. Wasn't, particularly interesting. There was nothing crazy bad about it, but I had some pink peppercorns from another project, and so I started thinking about what I could do with that, and the combination I came up with was pink peppercorn and basil. So I steeped some basil in part of it for a couple of days until it got the flavor I wanted, and then I swapped it out for some pink peppercorns and let that go for a little while. And I'm relatively happy with how it turned out. I think it could have probably came through a little bit more on the flavor. I think the pink peppercorn probably could have came a little more forward, but other than that, I'm pretty.
I'm Renee. So I kind of did a little bit different than Larry did. I went and looked in all my supplies, kind of see what I had that would make some good combinations. I used our favorite flavor Bible here to look up some other stuff that I could add to it. And I just kind of jotted a bunch of ideas down where in my handy dandy notebook. So I ended up doing vanilla bean. I took 1/3 of a vanilla bean, split it. I used toasted cacao nibs, 0.2 ounces, and then 2 rings of an Amberana oak spiral. And I put that in the bottle and let that sit for 10 days, I believe. And then I caramelized a little bit of honey and then put that into back sweeten. And then you guys saw, well, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I sent Garrett a picture because it started re-fermenting at that point. So I let it go until it stopped bubbling. Then I put it in the fridge to let it cold crash. And it ended up still being sweet enough. It tasted great. So I bottled it up and sent it to Garrett.
Okay, I guess that makes me next on number 3. So I tried a couple of different things with some woods. Originally, I grabbed some little mason jars, poured a little bit in there, and tried some with Hungarian oak, some with some French oak, some with Amberana, and the wood was just not doing what I wanted. So I ended up going and trying back sweetening with a couple different honeys. I ended up going with my Wildflower Boucher honey that I have down here. I also ended up back sweetening a little bit more with some brown sugar syrup and some holiday spices. it helped to round everything out. I'm pretty happy with it from what it started with. I'm not a really big fan of dries. I have a hard time being fair to them, I think. So trying to figure out what honey worked best with this unknown variant, this unknown traditional, was a little bit of a challenge. But I think I did pretty well with it. With the boucher really complemented it, and then the brown sugar and the spices kind of helped put it over the top. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Hi, my name's Matthew. My bottle arrived partially frozen with the cork pushed about halfway out and a third of the contents in the Ziploc bag. So my first step was to actually thaw the bottle out. So then I stabilized it. I had this honey that I got. It's from a company called Honey Next Door. Someone named Chud from the Doing the Most Discord sent this to me for a Secret Santa that the Discord ran. And it's a really nice honey. So I back sweetened with that and just did some balancing with tartaric acid and tannin reach extra. So I just went straight traditional. So we'll see if my lack of creativity is a good or bad thing.
So what I did, I started out with the traditional, tasted it a few times, tried to get a profile of it. Decided I was going to go blueberry. So what's the easiest way to do blueberry is a strong blueberry tea. So that's what I did. I wanted a citrus punch in there as well. So I added 4 grams of Citra hops, let that cold steep for 3 days, put that in a 20-ounce Pepsi bottle, tossed it in the keezer, carbonated it, and bottled it after that. I did add 35 grams of Wadelia blossom to it for sweetness too. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I had a lot of trouble with this. Pretty much everything I tried went wrong. I think I even put bacon in it at some point. So I eventually ended up going with what I knew. So I took food flavoring concentrates and I picked some sweet strawberry and vanilla custard. I suspended them in vegetable glycerin. I think the sweet strawberry at 10% and vanilla custard at 5%. And then I mixed them at 11% into what was left of the mead. I think I had about 200 mils left by the time I actually came up with it. And I ended up liking it. So that's what I did. I don't know how good it is. It probably tastes different now since it's been a couple of weeks, but that's my process.
All right. Yeah, so basically I took the traditional, tasted it a bunch of times, knew it was a little dry, a little harsh, probably a little young, but what I decided to do is, since it was kind of a neutral flavor ground, I decided just to kind of channel my inner Tracy and use some macadamia blossom honey and kind of a rum-soaked Amberana tincture that I made. I also used a little bit of cinnamon in there. And I just did some bench trials, kind of figured out my concentration. It's on the sweeter side, and then just cold crashed. Pretty simple flavor profile, but I figured the sweeter side would be a little bit more palate friendly and hide some of the harshness of the alcohol. So yeah, that was mine. Thanks, Tracy.
So for mine, relatively simple process. I thought that the base mead could use a bit of back sweetening and a little bit of complexity, and in order to do that while not diluting the ABV too much, I made my own blueberry concentrate and used all of the concentrate that I had prepared. Was running, hey, he's drinking mine right now, was running low on time, so I decided to use artificial flavoring. Something about the blueberry and the artificial blueberry and the spiced rum that I used, a couple of ounces of spiced rum, resulted in that lovely green color. I liked the result well enough and sent it in.
What's happening, everybody? TK here for the Ultimate Mead Maker 2024 Round 1 competition entry. For this one, I took my 750 of the dry traditional and I pulled off about 75% of that, and rested that on 6 cantaloupes worth of freeze-dried cantaloupe. I did it in 3 separate batches. I did it 2 pouches of the freeze-dried cantaloupe. After all that, I took some Bochet Guajillo honey and mixed that with the cantaloupe mead that I had concentrated down, and then took that and added that to the 187 of the traditional mead that I had saved for the competition. So you've got a Bochet Guajillo honey, back sweetened cantaloupe melomel on your hands there.
Well, what I did was I tasted it when I first got it. To me, it was fairly harsh and really dry. I had already had a plan in place before I even received it. I wanted to do a ginger mint mead with a little bit of back sweetening. Piece of ginger, grated it up, put it in a jelly jar, poured some of the mead on it. And as far as the mint goes, I bought some fresh mint, put it in another jelly jar with some of the mead in it. I still had it over half the bottle left. And then what I did was I let the ginger only took about 4 hours, and it was like way too strong at that point. The mint, on the other hand, took about a week and a half to get me the flavor of the mint that I was looking for. And then what I did was poured the original into a pint jar, and then literally took a syringe and put like 1 milliliter at a time in of the ginger until I got it to the level I wanted. Then with the mint mead, I did the same thing. It took about 7-8 milliliters of the ginger. It only took about 3 or 4 milliliters of the mint. I didn't weigh it, but I took probably half ounce of Craft-A honey, back sweetened it. I didn't have a way to carbonate it. I put it in a bottle, capped it, and let it cold crash, and nothing fell out of suspension. Then I got the stuff to force carbonate it, then put it in a Dr. Pepper bottle, force carbonated it, and then transferred it back into the 187 milliliter bottle, capped it, and then all of a sudden, all this stuff fell out of suspension.
Hey everybody, I'm Ryan. So I took mine and split it into 2 containers. I knew that, just on initial sensory, there wasn't a lot to work with, I guess you could say. So I had dried apricots soaking in 1 container, and I had peach nectar, a couple ounces of that, and I added a little bit of peach extract and back sweetened it with yellow star thistle. So I really was trying to play into the fruitiness of it and try to show that off. I was going to do some sort of a blend at the end of it, and just decided to go all peach nectar, peach extract side. The dried apricots, I was getting like a vinegar thing off of it and didn't want to chance it. So pretty happy with the final product. Super clear, probably more semi-sweet, but yeah, hope it goes well.
When I got the mead, I tasted it, and as many other people have commented, it was not a very distinctive mead and was rather tart and on the dry side. So I knew that I was going to need to do some back sweetening. I wanted to save as much volume as possible because I wasn't really sure what direction I was going to go. So I did a quick taste test of the mead to get an idea of what I had to work with. And then I took one of my own very basic traditionals and started playing with some tinctures and ingredient additions in that mead just to test the concept. So I made a tincture of Machu Picchu loose leaf tea blend. I did a 3-hour cold steep with that, and then added that to my test mead. I did another tincture with a 60-hour immersion of 5 ground green cardamom pods, which I also did a cold steep for that. And then I did a 3rd tincture with wild Szechuan peppercorns that were ground in a mortar and pestle. Did a cold steep with that and played with those for a couple of days in my test mead. Based on those results, then I went back to Garrett's mead and basically made up new spice mixtures, bagged them all, put them into a mason jar, decanted Garrett's volume into the mason jar and let them steep. And then roughly 2 days later, I pulled most of those out. I also made a mistake. I added 5 black peppercorns, and that sent it over the top and made it too bitter, which was a real pain. And so when I started to do the back sweetening, I used a ginger infused honey that I actually put in the fridge 3 years ago and have never touched. I put 6 ounces of shredded ginger into a mason jar and then filled it with honey so that the honey would extract the moisture and flavor from the ginger. And that's what I used for back sweetening, along with salted caramel. And because of the bitterness, I knew I needed to strip some of that bitterness away. So I ended up adding gelatin, which is known for grabbing polyphenols, and it stripped the bitterness away pretty well. My bottom line for this is the nose is loaded with peach. The flavor has a nice peach and ginger balance, and the cardamom adds some really cool perfumey honey notes to it that I think turned out really well. The salted caramel rounds it out and softens the tartness because of the salt. So that's what I ended up with. Good luck to everybody.
So my name's John. What I did was I had a few different ideas that I was throwing around, but my favorite drink overall where I live is called a Piccadilly slushy. It's pickle and fruit punch. And it's sour, sweet, tart, like everything you could think of in one bite. So I tried to replicate that in a mead. I took a bunch of fruit I had in my freezer, boiled it down into a syrup. Took forever and like 4 tries until I got it to where it wasn't scorching in the pan. And I used the syrup and some pickle juice, oddly, to get it in the mead and get it to the sweetness of the level I wanted, and the tartness I wanted. And I just hope it turned out good because I tried it once, and I haven't tried it since. So, and I cannot get it to clear. So it was probably the cloudiest one up there. It would not clear for anything I couldn't get it to clear.
All right, guys, you ready? I have results. I'm going to highlight the person who I found their mead most delightful, and that was mead number 10, Valis. There we go. So that means that's the top end. Of course, there'll be some other scores you can see. We have the bottom 3, and this is, again, no crushing to anybody. These meads are fantastic. This is a really tough one because, like, these are all really, really good. So, in no particular order, the 3 who are on the chopping block are mead number 8, mead number 1, and mead number 9. So they're the bottom 3. We're going to create a little tension here just for fun, just for giggles. And the person who will be leaving us, unfortunately, this evening from meads number 8, 1, and 9 is... Did I get my number? I don't want to say the wrong person. That'd be terrible. Unfortunately, my least favorite of the batch was mead number 1. And it was mostly because the flavors didn't quite meld as well as I wanted to. And it wasn't a lack of sweetness. It was just the flavor melding. So mead number 1, I believe that's Larry. Larry, will you tell me what you did and make me feel bad?
It was pink peppercorn and basil.
Okay, I got those. I got the dark notes there, and it was really interesting. I mean, it has a lot of flavor. It's just it didn't quite hit all the notes that I was looking for. Yeah, it's very unique. But I hate to say it, unfortunately we're only eliminating 1. I thought we were gonna eliminate more. That sounds bad. Unfortunately, no, we're only eliminating 1 this round. Sorry, that came out really terrible. So Larry, I'm so sorry, but unfortunately you have been eliminated from this year's Ultimate Mead Maker. I want to highlight 2 of them that I found really interesting. One that I didn't think I would like. Well, first of all, this green one, which I was like, Lord knows what happened to this thing. I'm pretty sure this was Kool-Aid, right? I tried to avoid all looking at your notes you guys posted, and it tastes like a Kool-Aid, but with a good blend of honey and things. It tastes like a blueberry Kool-Aid, like a flavor, but it still balanced the honey which was interesting. The other one that I knew, well, the moment I smelled it, number 13, I was like, this bad boy is pickles. And I wrote, my first thing I wrote on here was, holy pickles, that dill is for real. And it is wild how pickly this thing is. But I didn't hate it. I don't love pickles, but I thought it was a good balance of the mead plus the pickle side. So who was this? Who is 13? Is he here?
It was mine. It's a Piccadilly inspired mead. It's fruit punch,
listen,
pretty much fruit punch with pickles, and it's supposed to be sweet, sour, and tart.
You hit all those markers, you know. And again, I don't love pickles. I'm not screaming pickles, but I thought you did a good job of balancing, still with some honey in there, some prominent flavors. So that's round 1. And again, unfortunately, we do have to eliminate one person, so I'm sorry. We're going to go into round 2 now. And round 2 starts the moment you get all the information you need to start the next mead. So I look forward to seeing what you create. And here we go, straight into round 2. We're down to 12 mead makers left, and it's time to start our next challenge. This challenge is all about bouchées. I shared a 3-pound bottle of honey with each contestant. The honey was from the same source, so they were all on an equal playing field. Each contestant was tasked with making a bouché. However, they could not add any fruit or spices to their mead. They needed to make a strict bouché, and they could only use the honey provided. They could use their own yeast nutrient, and use oak or whatever acid for balancing. This challenge was pretty simple, but really challenged their mead making process in general. Unfortunately, 2 contestants did not get their bottles to me on time, so they were auto-eliminated from the competition. This means that there are 10 people remaining, and it's time for us to hear about each mead and taste them. One final note, I did tell each contestant to send me 2 bottles. I'll be using the second bottle for something later in this challenge. So let's hear about these meads. Mead number 1 was from Kyle. He used a slow cooker to cook all the honey for 6 hours on low and fermented it at 60 degrees with DV10. He used 2.25 pounds of honey for the primary and the rest post-fermentation for back sweetening. He added a touch of oak in the primary. He also notes it could have used more, but his strategy, as he says, was to make a mead that was neutral and wouldn't stand out in the crowd. Let's do this. Let's start with number 1. Got like a little bit of a dark cherry note to it. It's interesting. Totally. I didn't expect that. Number 1. I like what's going on here. Let's hop on to number 2. Mead number 2 is from Matthew, and he says, I prepared my honey by heating it with an immersion circulator set to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, 1/4 each at 4 different times, 12, 24, 36, and 48 hours. I fermented at 60 degrees Fahrenheit with Côtes de Blanc. Once the mead had reached my desired final gravity, I halted fermentation, stabilized, and aged on oak cubes, using a variety of species and toast levels. Finally, the mead was balanced with tartaric acid before bottling.
This is the darkest one out of the bunch.
It is. This I think there's some oak in here for sure. I get it on the nose.
It smells like it.
Oh, the mouthfeel. This one's way more. The body and mouthfeel is so much bigger.
Wow.
The sweetness level is nice. There's a little bit of acid there, which is cool.
Yeah.
And you definitely do get like a char on that. Mead number 3 was from Ty, and he says, for the round 2 challenge, I bouchéed 1.5 pounds of honey for 75 minutes in an open pot over a gas flame. I then fermented the bouchéed honey with QA23 yeast, Go Firm, and Fermade O. Once finished, I back sweetened lightly to a final gravity of 1.020. Ooh, the nose is much more tame on this one. Number 3.
Yeah.
Tasting through number 3. You gotta really dig to get it. Was a slight vanilla in there? Did you pick that up?
A little bit.
I get a slight orangey something in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like there might be some vanilla or something because there's softness. So it's almost got this like really mellow orange creamsicle to a small degree, not like true orange creamsicle. Mead number 4 is from Kevin. He says, I used a very small slow cooker to bouché about 50% of the honey to a dark amber using the white plate droplet technique to get where I wanted the honey. My mead was a session about 6% and needed more structure to counter the bitterness of this honey in particular, so he ended up deciding on an oak addition. He trialed Amberana, Hungarian, and American medium toast, oaks. Not quite what he was looking for, so he made his own oak treatment. He used medium toast oak and put them in his smoker to bring them up to a medium plus and added a smoky note after checking to make sure that was okay with me. He then aged on the oak for about 3 weeks. We got a carbonated one. Oh, there's some smoke on that.
Smoke? That's insane.
That is like direct, super smoky. Whoa.
Wow.
That's exciting. That's kind of cool though.
Mm-hmm.
Smoked meats are fun. I need to do more of them.
Oh man.
It's pretty heavy smoke.
It is very
heavy smoke, but I do like it. I think it's interesting. There's a lot of that warm honey character there. Mead number 5 is from Valis. He bocheted 2.5 pounds of honey with a heavy toast French oak spiral in it using the sous vide method, fermented the honey until it was at 1.000 gravity, placed the oak in and let that set for 3 weeks, then took it out. He sous vide the remaining half pound of honey and fermented that until it slowed to a 1.010 gravity. He stabilized and then let clear, then bottled. Number 5. Okay, now this one has a lot more of that fruit.
Yeah.
Kind of back to number 1, fruity.
I'm not sure on that one. That's a little bit of an orange flavor.
Yeah, is it? My brain went to passion fruit, but I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I'm just, sometimes when you think something and then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, and it might not be. Your brain can trick you. I do get an orangey, tropically, maybe sort of note. Maybe that's where my brain went to passion fruit.
Tropical is a good word for that.
Mead number 6 is from Renee, and she bocheted the whole amount of honey at 245 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 minutes, saved back a pint of bocheted honey, fermented with K1B1116, then fermented on medium toast American oak and Amburana partial spiral. After fermentation, she stabilized and back sweetened with the leftover bocheted honey and carbonated. She also had some acid balance additions. Okay, ready? Number 6?
Number 6.
For the carb?
Yeah.
Oh, nose on this one.
Yeah.
What does it smell like? It smells
a little bit of an alcohol aroma.
Yeah, I'm getting, oh gosh, this is a familiar smell. That's not something I normally smell in booze. I don't want to say cabbage, but it has a greeny, it does remind me of some sort of greeny vegetable smell when you're chopping it. Very different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the nose and the taste are different.
Yeah. There's a little bit of that almost vegetal type of flavor in there, though.
There is.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's something greeny, almost green apple-y, something.
The carbonation, the carbonic flavor, the acid flavor is also kind of feels like it pushes it in that kind of direction now.
Mead number 7 is from Ryan, and he says, I fermented out primarily bocheted honey, probably 90-10 ratio bocheted raw honey, from 1.082 to 1.000 D47. I had about 6 ounces of bocheted honey remaining to back sweeten with. Both bocheteds were 45-minute stovetop low heat length. I added French oak to age on and bottled it when it was clear. Number 7?
Yeah. A little bit darker than the last couple.
I like the body on this one. Feels present. The alcohol is not too hot.
No. This flavor I can't quite pinpoint on that though.
It does, and I say this with love to whomever this is. It does have a little bit of a sweaty sock undertone to me on the nose, mostly. So again, said with love, don't be offended. Mead number 8 is from Derek, and he says it was an all honey bochet for 20 hours using a immersion circulator. 2.5 pounds of honey and water up to a gallon. The Lalvin QA23 yeast fermented dry. Post-fermentation, he added 16 grams medium toast American oak, but he really meant to add 6 grams. He caught his oak mistake at 2 weeks, pulled the oak out and transferred into a new container and stabilized. He let it set for another month or 2, transferred it to the next carboy and added half a pound of bocheted honey and 0.5 milliliters of lactic acid. 8?
Number 8.
Rising
the
up.
Second darkest one. Yeah.
There's an interesting aroma here too.
Definitely smells stronger than the last couple.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting variations of like a cherry dark note there and then some citrus coming from this. And it could have been yeast, it could have been maybe the honey had that. They could probably attest to, they tried it more than I did. So Mead number 9 is from Tracy, and she says that she took 2 pounds of the Fisher honey and added spring water until she hit a target gravity of 23 bricks. She used K1B116, Go Firm, and Fermate O. Once fermentation was finished at 1.000, she racked and stabilized. She took the remaining 1 pound of Fisher honey and added 2 cups of water and started to bochet on the stovetop. She went hard at the boil for approximately an hour, pulled it from the heat and let it cool. Set it in a jar and then back sweetened to 1.025. She aged on Hungarian oak and added Kaisersan and Kisasol to clarify. Lucky number 9. So many different noses.
It's insane, really.
It is. Tons of vanilla, like medium nose, vanilla-y. something, or maybe that's oak.
Yeah, almost got oak kind of aroma.
I think that's oak, because it's definitely got the body for oak. The presence is very, probably a lot of vanilla from whatever oak that was.
Yeah.
Almost too strong, in my opinion.
Maybe. I really like that flavor though. That works for me. That with the body, like you're talking a little bit thick. Yeah, that's right.
And there's an interesting acid here that it's really mellow on the front. Get a lot of that vanilla and that oak, and I feel like the acid hits back here, which is like kind of at the end of your throat.
Yeah. Man.
Mead number 10 was Nick, and he said, I boiled my honey for 1 hour on the stove, but left about 1/4 cup in the bottle to back sweeten the finished mead. I added amylase enzyme to the must to break down the complex sugars from the bouchang of the honey, along with some DAP and some Go-Firm for the yeast starter. I soaked several oak cubes in high-proof bourbon, then roasted them on the gas stove to burn off the excess. I added water to get 1 gallon overall, and added the oak cubes in the must. After the fermentation, I added Kisa salt and chitosan to clarify, racked once into secondary before bottling, and added that 1/4 cup of honey to bring my final finished gravity back up to 1.006. I was aiming for a high ABV and dry boucher to stand out from what would likely be mostly sweet bouchers. Okay, number 10.
Number 10.
Let's do it.
That was fast.
We're already here.
Oh my gosh, that smells completely different than
Yeah, that's so...
I'm gonna have a drink before I taste that.
No, such a different nose.
Nice.
Yeah, it's so weird. And it's almost like you think sweetness, but it's deceptive, because sometimes like noses are just more flat. It could be sweet. Okay.
Almost like a cola kind of smell to it.
A little drier. Definitely has a little bit of that cola-y element.
Man.
There's some...
It's a little drier, a little more bitter.
There's a little bitterness in there. But it's not bad. It's interesting.
No, I like that.
The acid, because it's drier, hits in a different way. You know, I feel like it kind of goes away. The initial taste goes away faster, and you're left with a little bit of the acid at the end. That could have been, again, those adjuncts and things. So whatever you did there, that's the interesting play on all these honeys. Okay, well, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna turn off the mic, and we're gonna taste through real fast. I'll give a 3, 2, 1, and we'll take our 2 that we want to put up for elimination up there, and then if we agree, that'll be that. If not, then I'll mute the mic again, and we'll have a talk. Let's figure out how we want to do this. So I'm muting the mic. Feel free to chat with yourselves. We are ready to eliminate 2. So I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1. And we're going to grab the glasses and hold them up, since putting them forward, they can't see.
We're holding up the eliminated ones?
Eliminated people.
Okay.
And if we agree, then we'll move on. If not, then we got chat. All right, let's do it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. I've chosen, I think we chose the same ones. 3 and 6. As the eliminated people from this. To me, in my opinion, whomever 3 is, again, I don't know who you are, and this says all with love, it didn't have enough complexity, interesting things note to it. It just felt a little bit flat with flavor. Yeah. That's kind of the vibe I got. My main beef with it. And then 6 has a little bit, we were kind of talking about it off camera, it has a little bit of a cabbagey, greeny note that's kind of hard to get through, and I don't know exactly what that was. So, again, no offense to anybody. So that's 3 and 6, which means, let me pull up my sheet. We can find out who they are live in the moment. Number 3 eliminated is Ty Wheeler, and number 6 is Renee. Renee, I don't know, maybe we can talk and see what happened there, but we were both picking up an interesting kind of note that was a little odd, so I don't know. But Renee won Best of Show at Mead Stampede with an incredible strawberry hydromel. So unfortunately, Ty, Renee, you guys are eliminated from the competition.
And I'm sorry, you've fought fiercely, but unfortunately, we've got to move on. So thank you for submitting, though, and taking this challenge. It's very fun. That means that we're moving on to round 3. So this is the end of round 2. Congrats to our 8 people who are still in currently. Unfortunately, we're sending off 2 people this evening, but that's what happens. This is the survivor of the mead world. So thank you to Liberty for helping me out with this tasting. If you're ever around Edmond, Oklahoma, and you need to go to a brew shop, check out Learn to Brew. That's where Liberty halfway lives in his life. And you can find him and he can show you how to make some awesome beer, and soon he'll be mead making his way and teaching classes and doing everything on it too. So thank you guys.
And here we are in round 3, and I've got a callback to a challenge from last year. Last year I sent out honey stick to the competitors and made them figure out what honey stick was what in total. This year I wanted to step it up a notch. I got on Flying Bee Ranch and got 12 of their sampler honeys. I then filled out these little makeup containers with each one of the honeys and labeled them with a number. There were 11 different honeys, and you can see all of them featured right here on this screenshot. In tandem with all of that, I made a mead with radish honey, which is one of the featured honeys. I sent out all 11 honey samples and the traditional radish blossom mead to each competitor. I faked them out by telling them that round 3 was a mead making challenge and they all needed to wait to open their box until we were together. We hopped on a Zoom call and I surprised them with this challenge. They have 20 minutes to complete my Google form and match each honey with the appropriate answer, and then figure out what the traditional mead was made with. Each correct honey answer is 7 points and the traditional mead answer is worth 15. Let's see how they do. Welcome to round 3. We have all 8 of our contestants here. And let's see those boxes that I have shipped out to you. Let's see if they're intact. Remember I had a little rule there that you should not have opened said box. See if anybody fudged it and like retaped it. Anyone? You know, I imagine that too. Somebody trying to cut it open and then retape it. And I should have done some way to catch you if you had done it. Put a little alarm or something. I would love for you all to open your box right now, and we'll talk about the rules of round number 3.
All right, I'll grab it.
You're about to actively do round 3 right now, in the moment.
The moment.
In your possession, you should have little like makeup container sized things with 11 different honeys. Welcome back to the honey exam, as I'm calling this little challenge here. You should have a number 1 through 11 on them, and you have a bottle of mead. In said bottle of mead is a traditional mead made with one of these honeys. In a moment, I will give you 20 minutes to taste through.
Yikes.
And I'm sending you a form that you are going to fill out. In our honey exam, you will be getting points per honey correct. For every single one that you match correctly to the right honey, you will get 7 points. At the very end of the form is the traditional mead version. Taste it, see if you can match up with one of the honeys there. You'll notice that there are more honeys listed than what are presented, and that's to make this even more exciting for you. So that last one will be 15 points for the traditional mead. So it's not a make or break. It will help you if you get it right, but it's not hinging on your success. All right, contestants, round 3 officially starts right now. And go. Look at that. What have we got left? Oh, there he goes. Boom!
That was a lot of flavors all at once.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, it was.
a little
Very
overwhelming.
difficult. Yep.
Those are a bit tough.
The
Some are
flavors are
very-
melting on my tongue.
Yeah, some are very standoutish, and some are like, I don't know.
Yep.
You guys would think you probably think this is weird, but I tried to not taste them. My nose is a much better judge of honey than my tongue is.
Well, I was smelling them and then tasting them, so I mean, I'm
Yeah, I
familiar
did
with a lot
smell.
of them.
Yeah, I also.
I find the honey sweetness to be overwhelming, and after 2 samples, I can't tell anymore. So
Right.
when I taste honey, I always dilute by 50%. I do a 1-to-1 ratio of water to the honey by weight, by grams. That's how I taste honey. So this
Gotcha.
kind of an exercise for me is pointless as far as tasting the honey itself. So that's
Right.
why I smell. My nose is way better at picking out things than my tongue is.
And somehow I got honey in my hair now, so.
Oh, that's awesome. Your cats will appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask if anybody felt confident about the mead.
I think, I mean, I don't feel
Not one
confident
bit.
about it, but it was an educated guess. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I took the same approach.
Yeah.
And here are the results of the honey exam. Here are the top 4. And we'll figure out who the bottom 4 are. In first place was Matthew Allen with 50 points. In second place, Kevin Meitzma with 43 points. In third place, Kyle Ducharme with 35. And our final person, moving on to the final round of Ultimate Mead Maker 2024, is Ryan Fowler with 21 points. This was tough. I realize how tough this was. Tracy, 14 points, and I'll send you those in a second. Nick, 14 points. Derek, 14 points, and Valis with 7. So that means, unfortunately, we've lost 4 big time contenders in here, but that means that our top 4 being Kyle, Matthew, Kevin, and Ryan, you guys will go on to round 4, and Tracy, Nick, Derek, Valis, you guys are unfortunately eliminated from Ultimate Mead Maker 2024. And here we are. Welcome to the final round of the Ultimate Mead Maker of 2024. We're down to our final 4 contestants, and they are ready to make even more mead. Their final boss is the 50-50 challenge. During round 2 of this series, I told each contestant to keep at least 1 bottle of their bochet for themselves and to send me 2 bottles. I didn't tell them why, but we're planning on using them in this final round. For the final tasting, I'll be making a blended mead using 50% of their bochet they made in round 2 and 50% of whatever mead they want to make for this round. There are no rules or regulations for this round, only that I will blend them at a 50-50 ratio. So let's hear what each contestant did.
For this final piece of the competition, I wanted to do something different. After Garrett revealed that the mead that we made in the last round was to be blended 50-50 with a brand new mead, I knew that I wanted to do something that would bring a completely different character to the mead that I had made previously. And that mead was made with oak chips that I smoked. So I wanted something that would complement the smokiness of the original mead. I made a bone-dry session wildflower from Wisconsin, and then to that I added a Nocino fortification, a homemade Nocino fortification that I created a couple of years ago as an enhancement. So for those of you that don't know what a Nocino is, you can look it up, but it's typically made with black walnuts and other spices such as cloves, a little bit of cinnamon, that kind of thing. And there's a whole variety of different things that people can use in there. But one of the things that the black walnuts do is it makes the Nocino pitch black. So it's added a little color to the very pale wildflower that I started with. And then I finished it up with some tinctures of other spices that I was interested in using to essentially create a slightly smoky, off dry to at the very bottom end of semi-sweet cocktail mead. So hopefully that's what I've accomplished, and we will see how this turns out. best of luck to everyone who's in this final round, no matter what happens. This has been an interesting journey.
For the finale of the Ultimate Mead Maker, I decided to pair my pretty mild Bochet that has notes of cherry with a mead that I made with black currant and tart cherry in primary with some wildflower honey. And then I also added bitter orange and bourbon post-fermentation to make it more like a cocktail. I really wanted this to be something fun for the judges to drink, something different. It's definitely more blackcurrant forward, but there are some cherry and citrus notes that will be interesting. Looking forward for them to taste it.
Hi, this is Ryan Fowler, and I'm going to talk through what I did with my final round cherry melomel. I made this with 1.5 pounds of lemon blossom and 1 pound of orange blossom honey. Also used a pouch of dark sweet cherry puree and utilized the Cellar Science red yeast, known for color and flavor preservation. Started off at 1.13 and fermented dry in 11 days. Stabilized and sat on black cherries and dried tart cherries for 2 weeks. Back sweetened with the 20-minute Bochet meadow foam, just light enough to bring out some of the, more of the toasted marshmallow rather than like the intense marshmallow of a raw meadow foam. And added 2 Madagascar vanilla beans for a month. On the back end, to balance it out, I added tart cherry juice concentrate, cleared and then bottled. So it was 1.13 to 1.000 in 11 days, and yeast pitch to bottling was 2 months. And then looking at the combination of the 2 meads together, I actually didn't test this one out with the Bochet that I had on hand that we previously made. But I did have a blueberry melomel that I made, and it was just kind of lacking in general. So I had taken that previous Bochet and blended it in to fill the headspace and really liked the final product. So I knew I was onto something with a darker berry or darker fruit and knew that was a route I wanted to go down. And this cherry I have made before. So this is a version 2. Made a couple little tweaks from last time, but this one got a Silverette Mazer Cup 2023. So I knew that the basics of the recipe I had going were pretty strong. So the main things I was going for were nuance within a single type of fruit. And so I try to do that through the use of real fruit, the use of puree, the use of dried fruit, and also juice concentrate. I really wanted a strong vanilla character to match the fruit character. So, with the Bochet meadow foam, that brought out a little bit of it, as well as the 2 beans and sitting on them for a month. Thanks for everything, and hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want to reach out, my IG is Bush League Brewing, BUSHLEAGUE BREWING. Thanks a lot.
Now that we know what they did, let's get to tasting all of these amazing brews. Here we are for the 4th round, final round of the Ultimate Mead Maker. I've got David and BC here to help me judge this, and I do have some viewers in here, some of the finalists. We have anonymized these, so we have an A, B, and a C. You'll see them right here, who is what in their blend, and you'll also have heard about what they did specifically with their combo. We're gonna taste through them and then declare a winner by the end of this, the Ultimate Mead Maker, which I haven't told you guys. They get that trophy up there, which is the honey pot.
Okay.
And then I have a grand prize of probably the most expensive video I do. I won't do it again next year because it's too much money. But $250.
Oh my God, just cash.
There you go.
Just here, have some dollars.
So it's a big prize for for that.
I should have entered this.
Under some fake name.
Yeah, I'm Ryan Fowler.
Oh, Ryan. Yeah, it's crazy you made it.
Yeah, with an E. Okay.
So let's go and taste them. Let's talk about them too. Let's taste one by one. Let's start with A, and then we can talk about it, and then we'll come to a consensus.
Okay, let's drink. Skull. Skull Tomathon.
What do you get on? What do you get on A?
I mean, smells. Yeah, honey, caramel, butterscotch.
Mm-hmm.
There's an apple, maybe.
I get a little smoke in there too.
Yeah. There's like a cidery, fruity note.
Mm-hmm. I purposely tried to not learn about what they did for their fourth round because I want to keep it as anonymous as possible.
Okay.
So.
That's reasonable.
Oh, it does have that very like cinnamon, malic acid,
Mm-hmm.
like
a lot of cinnamon flavor.
Apple? Is it apple?
I feel like it's apple.
Yeah.
I think it's
like
apple.
maybe it's apple cinnamon.
It could be pear.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's an interesting combo with the. There's that smoky sort of character that's in there too. Yeah. You get a lot of things. That's a lot of flavor profiles.
Yeah. There's almost like a chamomile flavor in there too, like a floral tea.
There's some type of tea going on.
It's youthful.
Yeah.
It's it doesn't have like a burn. It's not like an alcohol burn. It's more like a verdant.
Yeah.
Young kind of flavor, a green kind of.
It's not bad.
I haven't aged yet kind of flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how that, with all those characters, melds over time.
Well, especially if it is apple, it'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we go to B?
There's a little something bitter in there too. I wasn't picking it up at first because I was getting the cinnamon and the fruit.
Yeah.
But then the more sips I took, the more I was getting like almost a burnt, bitter charcoal.
Could that be the smoke component that was that we were picking
Possibly,
up too?
yeah.
Ooh, very different notes. This is jammy.
Oh, yeah.
Buttery. Butter and jam.
A little bit of a marshmallow kind of. Vanilla.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely like a meadow foam vibe happening here.
Yeah.
I think the tannin is nice because it's got a good little mix of enough but not too much. There is a fair amount of acid in this.
Yeah, it's acidic.
Acid and vanilla.
And this is no disrespect at all, but I'm kind of getting that like breakfast cereal vibe, like the marshmallow like aftertaste kind of thing. So, but it's good. I mean, it tastes good, but
You're right. It is almost like a Lucky Charms marshmallow flavor, not like a s'mores marshmallow flavor.
Correct.
Chalky.
But you know, everyone says meadow foam is the way to get marshmallow.
That could be it.
Everyone says. Yeah.
It's never been tested or anything, but it gets some. I agree. I do think the acid balance and sweetness are decently there, but it does hit a little more acidic. And then the whatever berry they used is kind of fun. It's got like a blackberry sort of.
Yeah, blackberry, currant. Boysenberry,
I'm guessing
kind of.
currants, if I can guess.
It's interesting because you can tell that was a bigger mead that was then diluted down with the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're not getting as much of that jammy mouthfeel as you expect.
Right. You cut a little bit.
From the aroma.
I wonder if he factored that in. If that was something he made it extra heavy and thinking, okay, you know what, this will come down.
Yeah.
I mean, the fruit's pretty hardcore on the back end.
Yeah.
Like, that's what sticks with you. It's got to be.
Nice.
I think it's currants.
It's nice. I want it to be a little more viscous.
C. Okay. Letter C.
Wow.
Very different.
Yeah.
These are all
acidic fruit.
Totally different things.
I have a feeling this one will definitely be more dry than our previous ones.
Yeah, it's got like a piment, a grapey kind of aroma. Pinot.
Oh yeah, very, very grape forward. Very
Yeah.
grape juicy.
I think there's something else in
Oh,
there,
you know what this tastes like? When you go to like a teetotaler church and they start passing around the communion tray and it's like non-alcoholic grape juice. That's what this has got, that like slightly spoiled Welch's grape juice.
Oh, no.
No, it doesn't taste bad. That's not what I'm saying. But like you know, that communion grape juice has been sitting on the shelf for a while, right? They brought it out because we're having a revival this weekend.
Huh.
It's interesting. I can't disassociate that now.
I think it's the thickest of anything we've tried.
I think the flavor is definitely high grape juice. Acid's pretty much there, and the honey is definitely
there, but it's appearing more sweetness than honey than floral
flavor.
Yeah.
But it's not like a wine grape juice flavor. It is like a lunchbox grape juice flavor.
It's like a jam or jelly.
Yeah,
maybe this is the guy who undid all those community cups.
Yeah, maybe it's like his full circle. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
I definitely have a preference.
I do too.
Okay, so do we want to, let's eliminate one. Let's give this a little anticipation. If you feel comfortable eliminating one, I'm going to go through real fast.
Yeah. I don't know that I love the flavors opening up.
Yeah.
The cinnamon is starting to really punch me in the face.
Yeah, it's
The A
starting
is
to be
very
a little,
busy
little
with-
astringent as well as it opens.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like, get you right back here.
Yeah.
I would. Should I?
Should we just put what?
Yeah,
we
let's do a 3, 2, 1 and put what you want to eliminate out. What you're eliminating.
Okay.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, okay. So the big thing with A, I think y'all noted, was that it opened up too. And
I want you to tell us why you were going to eliminate B.
I think there is more interesting characters happening in A. B is nice and fun, but I feel like it rings kind of one bell for the most part.
Yeah.
That I wasn't I'm not crazy about, but it also, I could see as this opened up more too, it became
It's a bit harsh.
Yeah, and it opened up quickly, I might add. It's only been 5-10 minutes, so I can definitely agree with that. Okay, so that puts us with B and C in contention to be the ultimate Mead Maker. So, I guess do we want to just try and send it forward? Or send the eliminated one?
It's your show.
I gotta decide now. I gotta...
Yeah, I want to go back into them for a minute. Can you cue up the Jeopardy theme song? And we'll do a little...
Yeah.
Yeah, or yakety sax. One of the two.
Is this an elimination?
This is the eliminated. Put the one forward that you want to eliminate.
Okay.
3,
You're not gonna like me.
2, 1. I put B forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
DC put B forward.
Yeah, I'm stuck
David?
with C.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah, tell us why.
So, not as complex.
Yeah.
It definitely knows what it is, though. It is what it is. This one is still slightly confusing.
Okay.
I can see it, yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah.
Which, it's a blend, I get it. But this is exactly what it looks like and smells like. That's how it tastes.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. I don't dislike that one.
No, I don't dislike any of these.
I think that this one is more fun. And that's probably my only deciding
And I just
factor.
told you the opposite reason that I eliminated it.
Yeah.
That was C, who we've declared the winner, which is none other than Kyle Ducharme.
Oh boy. I just tagged him in a post 5 minutes ago.
Well, he might be watching, I don't know.
All right.
But Kyle is the ultimate Mead Maker of 2024. And in a moment, we're going to jump to him and have I want to talk to him about it, so we'll do some interview stuff. But thank you guys for being part of this tasting.
Absolutely.
And
The opportunity.
Figure out this very high-level challenge. I think we've had some grueling challenges with the Ultimate Mead Maker with the intent to weed people out. And all 3 of these people were fantastic mead makers. This was Kevin Meinsma, who was A.
Oh,
This
okay.
was Ryan Fowler, who was B. And Kyle Ducharme. And like I said, Bucky was not... unfortunately, not able to do this, but he was the winner last year, so I can't feel that bad.
He's a great mead maker.
He's a great mead maker. So, all right, we're gonna jump to a quick interview with Kyle. And here we are with the winner of the Ultimate Mead Maker of 2024. We have Mr. Kyle Ducharme in front of my face right now. Welcome, Kyle.
Thank you.
Super glad we can get to sit down and chat. In just a small portion, we're going to do a longer chat here in a little bit. So let's talk about your winnings, because you have been through the gauntlet. You have survived Survivor style, and you have won this trophy right here that will be sent off to you. And I have to do this. The lid is supposed to be like that. It just always falls down. So you'll get this trophy, and I'll be sending you $250 to go to whatever little ventures are happening. And Christmas time is here, so that might be Christmas presents for you or something. I don't know what you're doing with it, but congratulations. How do you feel after about a year of 4 long challenges?
I feel extremely lucky to be here. My competitors were fantastic mead makers in their own right. As most competitions and most competitors know, there's a little bit of luck in the game, but at the same time, just putting your best foot forward and taking every challenge seriously, that's the way to do it. And things have been paying off this year, and this is one of those moments where it feels like another kind of payoff. But yeah, every challenge was really amazing to go through, and yeah, just happy to be here.
So, were there any challenges you weren't expecting? Was there one that happened you're like, oh, I wasn't, like you had to really kind of shift gears, or?
So I knew that there was going to be some sort of honey kind of tasting, something to do with our palate, and I'm really glad that returned. It was a little different, which was nice, having that traditional meat at the end. I think it really stumped a lot of us, but at the same time, it was a lot of fun. I think the thing I wasn't expecting was the curveball at the end of, combine the round 2 bochet with mead to blend, and that was a lot of fun. It was a lot more challenging than I was anticipating. I kind of played the safe route in round 2 with doing a kind of middle of the road bochet, because I didn't want I was figuring, some people might make some acrid kind of bocets or get too hot or get too dry. I want to do something right in the middle, and for the end, I was a little worried that would bite me in the butt, because I wouldn't have enough complexity. So I made more of a complex mead to pair with it, and that worked out, and I'm really thankful for that. But that was definitely kept us on our toes, and that's the type of thing that this type of challenge lends itself toward, is keeping mead makers on their toes. And that's something that I really value and really look for these days, rather than just entering a random mead that maybe I've made 15 times and have perfected. This is really this is really focusing on balance. This is really focusing on my palate. This is really focusing on technique to get things done quickly, and have a great product at the end. And just against all these amazing mead makers, it's just a lot of fun, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I knew a lot of you were very worried when I said in round 2 to keep a bottle, or send me 2 bottles. And I figured y'all would be theory crafting why I would want 2. And I don't know that anybody really came to the resolve, but I did like the element of putting you on your toes. I think that's kind of fun. Obviously, we all make a lot of mead, like you're saying. So it's kind of cool to be like, wait, what's happening now? And so that was a fun little twist that I thought of for this year. But you are the ultimate mead maker of 2024, and it's a well-deserved title based off of all of your efforts this year. You are also in contention, and we will have results not in this video, but you can find them online for the American Mead Maker Association's Mead Maker of the Year. You are currently 2nd place, if I remember correctly, right? And
yeah,
you are
exactly.
Eking right up on 1st place, and we got one big comp coming up that will decide the final placements. So if you would like to go see that, check out the AMMA Mead Maker of the Year. There's a link to it. I'll try to find one maybe below. But you can see if Kyle made his way up to 1st. We're hopeful he did, and through this next comp. But congratulations, my man. I am stoked that you won this, and I can't think of a more deserving time for you right now.
Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of fun. Looking forward to other challenges like this in the future for other mead makers, and just enjoying different challenges. One challenge that I have for folks is this Iron Bee competition that I host. It's a free competition for folks to enter. It highlights a select ingredient. This year is hojicha. It's a smoked green tea, and it's something that I'm using the funds actually from this competition to help sponsor that competition.
Yeah.
So it's something where it's free to enter. Just give your best attempt at a hojicha mead. The rules will be, there's a link for all the rules and registration. Feel free to enter. It's going to be in May of 2025.
Perfect. I'll put that link down below in the description for people who are interested as well. That's super fun. I think people should definitely go off and do that. So, well, Kyle, thank you for hopping on here. Again, we're going to do a longer chat for a podcast coming up soon. So if you're watching this later on in the game, there's probably a podcast with us as we chat even deeper about this topic. But congratulations, and I will be getting this stuff to you as soon as possible so you can live in your studio space in your Mead area. And yeah, again, congrats, man.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. And so that ends the 2024 Ultimate Mead Maker Challenge. This trophy has been claimed by Kyle Ducharme, and I am super excited to send it off to him. As you just saw the interview with him, he's a fantastic mead maker. He's in contention for the American Mead Maker Association's Mead Maker of the Year, which is also a big accolade. But more importantly, he's won this bad boy right here. I want to say thank you to him, of course, for putting in good stuff. Thank you to all the other contestants for submitting things, for going through this process. It is a grueling effort. There's a reason it's called the Ultimate Mead Maker, because you have to do a lot. And so I appreciate every contestant who has participated in this and supported this competition. It's been incredibly fun, and I would love to say that this is something I'm gonna do every year compounding from now. I did 2023, I did 2024. Unfortunately, 2025 is not gonna happen because this video series is just too expensive and too, expensive in money. It's about, between everything that I buy and getting things to contestants, buying trophies, the prize, all that stuff, it's about $800 to produce this video. Last year was a similar one. It was about $800 to produce that video as well, and I will not see even 1/100th of that come back to me because YouTube revenue is not great. So unfortunately, it's just too much to produce. It's also a lot of time and effort. I really enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun, and I hope you've enjoyed watching the videos, but sitting 6 feet, 10 feet from me right now is my kid, and I want to prioritize the time with that. It just doesn't work logistically to keep this up. So I've had a lot of fun running it. Maybe in the future years I'll bring it back, but for now, this is the final one for the time being of the Ultimate Mead Maker series. So thank you to contestants from 2023, from 2024, and I hope you enjoyed this series. If you liked it, the best thing you can do to support the channel and allow me to do bigger videos and series like this is to subscribe to the Patreon or the YouTube membership. Of course, YouTube subscribing just as a normal button, that's awesome, and viewing videos is great, but it doesn't quite equate to actually giving me the ability to do more. So if you would like to go further in your support, go ahead and hit the Patreon link or the YouTube membership link below. Otherwise, of course, I appreciate if you just subscribe and or like the video or stuff like that. So thank you so much for watching this video. This has been a very long one. Thank you to the contestants again, and we will see you. I'll see you in another video coming up very soon in 2025. So with that, cheers.